today and not the basement of the house. Um, this is where I come to relax, chill out, get away from things. Usually I got the music cranked up or I got my headphones on, one of the two, and I just draw. I like drawing very large pieces. I've done everything from sculptures out of sand, foam, wood, all kinds of things to oil painting and acrylic painting and mural painting. I've painted a lot of murals. And yeah, that's kind of what I do to relax. But pencil drawing is what I've always come back to. I just love it. My art studio is located in a small town. This is about 2 blocks from my house. It's a historic library built in 1891, I think it was. Each one of the separate artists in here, there's 7 of us in total, I think. We each have our own individual place within the building, and it's kind of cool. It's like 30 feet long. It's about 13 to 15 feet wide, and the ceilings are 12 feet tall. And that's what I love about it because I plan on doing some really big pieces here in the near future. This one that you see over here is 6 feet tall, a little over 4 feet wide. That's a pencil drawing I did of my significant other and better half. This one that you see over here, I started last week, and I expect that to take probably about as long as what this one did. This one took about 100 hours or so to do. Very relaxing, very fun. I just chilled out. A lot of other things that I do are like this over here is a series of aristocrat animals that I do in a Victorian portrait style. I've got a whole bunch of them up on my wall up here throughout. I was a syndicated cartoonist in the 1990s for 8 years on the side from running my own sign company. And it was a lot of fun. I just love doing cartoons. Anyways, let's get down to business. What I wanted to do is talk about the sign industry podcast, where I think it's going, and what I plan on doing with it, or what I hope to plan on doing with it. One, I want to start doing commentary at least once a week and post it. Um, what happened is we started the podcast probably about 3 weeks before the Sign Expo in 2024 in Orlando. So we really didn't have a solid plan put together. I was talking to Mark and Lou from Smart Media and I in Signs of the Times magazine, and I said, "Bob, let's do a sign podcast," And so they're like, "Yeah, sounds great. Let's do that." And so we kind of put one together real quick. So it's been kind of a path, around different things, getting to where we are right now. Um, with everything going on in my sign company, which I design signs for other sign companies and architectural firms, I've been pretty busy. And so I didn't really have a lot of time put into the sign podcast just yet. Some of the interviews that you've seen so far are actual interviews from the Sign Expo and contacts that we had at the Sign Expo. And so the Sign Expo was a lot of fun. I don't know about you, but we had a riot. Um, so, anyways, more of that coming, more commentary on the sign industry as I see it. Um, I've got opinions about it, and please don't take any offense. Um, the reason that I have opinions about it, I think are legit, and we'll get into those. So that's where I think we're headed. That's where I'd like to go to. If you have any suggestions, please put them in the comments below. And like all the other YouTube people say, subscribe and like and all that other fun stuff. Um, so let's get down to my first commentary. How's that? Okay, here we go. Think, think, think. Well, I noticed, and I'll do this with my own, how about we do this through my own experience? Um, in the sign industry, overall, everybody really likes their job. I love what I do. I can't see myself doing anything else but what I do. I just love doing it. And a lot of people, a majority of the people that I talk to at the Sign Expo and outside of the Sign Expo day to day in the sign industry really love their job. Um, it's it's a different whole story in the construction industry. We are kind of the forgotten orphan, I guess you'd say, of the sign industry. Um, I mean, you look at all the plans that architects do and construction companies. They draw up all these plans and everything else, beautiful buildings, blah blah blah, and um, in the specifications, Division 10, Section 14, probably you get about this much description of what the signs are going to be for a $300 million project. And you're like, what do I do? So the architect usually comes back and says, well, we're thinking about it. We're not going to get to it till later. So blah, blah, blah. Right. Well, then later comes by and they've forgotten about it again. And they've got, roughly 6 weeks before they're going to open this beautiful building that they've been building for 2 years. And they say, hey, we need signs and we need them like in 6 weeks. And you haven't even done a drawing yet, let alone priced them. And you're backed up with all this other stuff that you're doing. You are shorthanded because of the way the sign industry is right now. And you're scrambling to get the stuff done that you're getting done. So what do you do? Right? Um, what I say is be not forceful, but stand your ground. All right. It's not worth it lose or getting a job that's going to cause you a lot of stress, that's going to cause your employees a lot of stress, and it's going to put a lot of stress on the other clients that you have by moving their projects around. They're not going to like that. They're going to get upset. So we don't want to do that. So stand your ground. Um, Tell them, hey, this is what it is. This is where it's at. If you don't like it, find somebody else. The reason I say that is because it's worth not having that project than what it is having the project and making a mess of all kinds of stuff. I've seen it, I don't know how many times. Salespeople are fantastic at what they do. But my own personal opinion, take this with a grain of salt or however you want to. The reason I bring stuff up like this is because we need to talk about it, right? Salespeople barely ever go back to the fabrication department, and they barely ever or hardly ever go to an installation. They hardly ever go to a maintenance call to see what happens, to see how things are done. A lot of the salespeople that are in the sign industry came from other sales industries. And a lot of them don't know one thing about a sign. A lot of them do know things about signs. But I would suggest that you have your salespeople spend a day with some of the guys in the fabrication department, go out to a job site when they're installing a sign, go out to a maintenance call when they're doing a maintenance call. So you guys can see exactly how much time and effort goes into this stuff. It's going to give you a different perspective on how you approach your job and your timelines and everything else. So my point is, let's bring it back to this. My point is, you've got this big job that is staring you in the face that you could get. You've got all these other jobs over here that you're working on, and you're shorthanded. I'd probably say 60 to 70% of our sign shops are shorthanded. And if you pile something on them that's going to have to be done quickly, it's going to cause a lot of stress. And we don't want that. It's going to cause a lot of stress with your other clients. So your salespeople need to know, okay, here's the deal, Mr. Architect, Mr. Contractor, Mr. Builder, whoever. This is what we have going on. This is how many people we got. And these are how many other clients that we have that we've been working with that we don't want to upset. Is there possibly a way that you can push your timeline back? Because we're not going to make it. And just be truthful with them, be honest. If you don't get the job, you're not meant to get the job. There's other ones that are coming all the time. So, my first suggestion, my first commentary, I guess I'd say, would be that I appreciate what salespeople do. I've been a sign salesperson before. I still do sign sales occasionally, but I would suggest that the sign industry salespeople learn more about what's happening in fabrication, learn more about what's happening in installation, learn more about what happens in a maintenance call. All the paperwork, all the figures, and everything else mean nothing unless you guys have a grasp on how long it takes people to do things, the skill level of the people that you have working for the company you're working for, the equipment that you have. All of that needs to be taken into consideration when you go to a job. Um, please don't take offense, as I said. I'm not angry with anybody. I'm, not trying to put you guys down. I'm just trying to say this is the starting point. The salespeople are the starting point of any project. We need more information from them, and we need them to understand what goes into the final product. In taking into consideration all the other stuff that's going on and all the other factors that go into the project. Before I sign off, another idea that I think should go with salespeople is when you go to a place to do a survey or a sales call, as many pictures as you can get helps the design people. If you can give them the sign ordinance of that location, the square footage they're allowed, and everything like that. The more a design person doesn't have to read, the quicker the design gets, and the more apt the design person is really going to enjoy what they're doing. I'll get into design people in my next commentary. What I'd like to do is start here with the salespeople, go to the design people, go to the fabrication people, go to install and maintenance, and just kind of break everything down and let you guys know how it all comes together. Because a lot of people probably don't realize that. I've worked in every aspect of the sign company, from digging holes and holding the ropes to running my own company and doing very, very large projects. And it all boils down to one thing: communication and truth. I cannot stress that enough. A customer is going to be more happy with you if you are truthful with them, and they're going to understand more so than they would if you were to lie to them, or maybe stretch the truth a little bit, or give them a due date that they're not going to they're not going to get. Because what you're doing is you're raising this person's hopes to think, wow, I'm getting my signs, I'm getting whatever at this date, such and such. And that person is excited. It builds them up. They're happy, right? When that time comes and you have to call them up and say, I'm sorry, but we can't make it, blah, 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 they go way down. The mood is out, and the angry mood starts to come in, and we don't want that. So that's what I have to say for a commentary today. Thanks for joining me from my art studio here in the small town that I live in Michigan. And I hope to see you again soon. Again, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. Pass it along. If you have some suggestions for the podcast, by all means, put them in the comments below. I'm going to make it a point to start looking at all of this stuff and to basically turn this into a part-time job. Is what I plan on doing. So thank you again, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.